Hey there, Lexies. Welcome back to my channel. Finally, a sit-down video. This feels more like my element. Thank you for still being here. Today's topic is going to be things that an apartment has to have in order to be considered luxury. I thought about this topic because I get a lot of questions about how do I determine the place that I'm going to choose whenever I go on my tours. And quite a few of the people that watch my videos are moving into their very first apartment. So this is just my little list that I made so that you don't get got in these times where every apartment is tacking on the word luxury to their name. Let's get started. Okay, number one, concierge. Concierge is always going to be a very strong indicator that a property is going to be luxury. It means that you have a team of people that are there to cater to you after hours, meaning that when the office staff is no longer there. This comes in handy for move-ins, for deliveries, for when you need to let your guest up. It's just different. Like if you've lived in a place that has concierge, you already know what I'm talking about, so we don't have to go too much into it. But that ties into number two, which is tight security, right? Typically they're gonna go hand in hand. But there's a place that has an attendant up front, you have to talk to someone, give them your ID, show them all your details in order to get in, or a place where you can't be buzzed up unless by security or someone who lives there. You're going to notice that a luxury property takes their security seriously. Reason being is that people are paying an arm and a leg to live there, right? So it's a different caliber of individuals. They don't want to deal with the riffraff, okay? That's part of why they're willing to pay thousands of dollars to live where they live. So security is going to be very tight. Now, post-COVID has a lot of American areas that used to be considered safe, experiencing a lot more crime than usual, but nevertheless, the property management is always going to make sure that they're taking all the security measures. They're not ignoring what the tenants are saying. They're proactive, like they're getting to this stuff before you even get a chance to complain. That to me is the difference between a luxury property and one that's pretending to be. Number three goes without saying, in-unit washer and dryer. Like, I don't even know why I should have to say this because luxury or not, like it's kind of one of those things that makes sense to put in a home, right? When you're renting. Now, I know that California and New York can be a little different and that's a whole nother market. But outside of those two, for the most part, if you're moving into a luxury building, there's no reason why you should still be like going to the laundromat or, you know, having to furnish it with your own washer and dryer. It just seems a little. Now, if you're purchasing, that's different. Maybe you're buying a brand new condo and it didn't come with it. That's different. I'm talking about renting right now. If you're renting, it should already be in there. Number four is a cleaning service. I'm not talking about coming to your apartment. That's nice too. The cleaners that make sure that the common areas, your hallways, your gyms, all the amenities, right? There should be someone that is on site making sure that the stuff is sparkling. Where I currently live, where I just moved into, there's literally staff that walks around picking up after people. And it shouldn't even be that way. Like people should just pick up after themselves, right? And that's a lot of times what fake luxury management companies will say. It's your neighbors, they're just doing this, they're doing that. But what can you do? What can you do as the person that I'm paying rent to make sure that you can mitigate some of these things? And a lot of times the trash that he's picking up is little small things here and there. Sometimes it's not even something that someone actually like dropped. I just live in a very windy area and sometimes the wind would drive it into here. But the point is that they care about how the place is taken care of. And so they have designated staff for the outdoors and for the interior. So important. When I make my video about the place that I lived that was my worst living experience previously to this, I will touch on why these kind of things matter. Number five is elevators. As someone that's living in a property that doesn't have elevators for the very first time in her life, I miss it. But it's not even about my preference. It's just a feel, right? It's like going to a hotel that's supposed to be 5-star and you have to walk 3, 4, or 5 floors to your room. What about that experience feels luxury to you? Does that make sense? So while I feel like I live in a great place right now, I love the property that I live in. It's quiet. It's just what I need right now in the season of my life. I feel like that would be the one thing that's making it not be luxury. But I also need to add this caveat. I have a walk up, meaning like I can walk up to my door and then my stairs take me upstairs. So it's indoor. That's still considered luxury to me. I'm talking about the ones that have the stairs outside. I know you guys have seen the ones I'm talking about where it's almost like motel style. What are we doing? I don't know. I know we're all different, but to me, an elevator is always going to give luxury every single time. All right, number 6, tile or real wood floors. This has been hard to find lately because a lot of builders have been finding out that they can cut corners by putting that fake vinyl stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That stuff that looks like linoleum. I don't even know if I'm saying the word right. That word is always a tongue twister for me. Again, blaming the tenants. They've said that when people move out and they ruin the linoleum stuff, it's much easier to replace than the wood. I beg to differ. It's not easier. It's just cheaper. So again, a non-luxury property is going to cut corners, right? When you walk into a unit and you see that, I'm going to try to put a picture of it up here. If you see this, not luxury. Tile, real wood, marble. Yes, you're on the right track. And last but not least, this is a little hard to control, especially in a market like Las Vegas where people make fast money, but they aren't necessarily of great caliber. I'm going to say classy tenants, right? I can always judge how luxurious the property is by the people that live there. Sounds classist, but it just is what it is, right? You know the quality of the place by the tenants. And for me, it has never failed me. I'm not even looking at the cars because I've always lived in places with nice cars, for example. But that doesn't mean that my neighbors were necessarily people that I wanted to write home about. Does that make sense? So you can always tell because the management company is not going to put filling up all the space over the quality. They're not going to skip on the background checks. They're going to do their due diligence for the income verification. They're going to do their due diligence for your apartments, like your history verification, like all of those things. They're going to make sure that you are in tip-top shape because that affects your tenants, right? People are paying good money to live here in peace. They don't want to be dealing with the riffraff. And so that's just it. I'm not going to make this video too long. What are some things that personally for you are non-negotiables when it comes to choosing a luxury property? And if there are any other topics that you want me to touch on, drop them down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.